Who am I talking with?
John Sharp.
John Sharp.
Yes, sir.
And what do you do, John?
Right now, I am volunteering as a volunteer at the B-29 restoration out at the Kansas Aviation Museum.
Yeah.
And when we are a little slow with the B-29, I try to help out with the Kansas Aviation Museum.
Well, that's nice of you. What did you do when you were before you were retired? When you were still in your working life?
I was in aviation all my life.
Yeah.
And I stayed with Boeing most of my career. I worked at Kennedy Space Center
Yeah.
on the Apollo program, and then after that I went out into the field and worked on a Minuteman program for 7 or 8 years or more.
Yeah.
And then I came here with Boeing in 1980,
Yeah.
and I was in inspection all the way until I retired in 1995.
What's the most exciting thing you ever did in your career?
They launched the Apollo 11 Saturn, and Armstrong and Collins and them guys. That was the most exciting thing I've ever done.
Did you get to meet those guys?
I didn't.
You did not?
I did not.
Yeah.
I was on the base, but John Glenn and Shepard and a lot of them I got to know. Well, not know like we know each other, but
Yeah.
you see them coming and going. So.
What was your function there?
I had the service arms. There was 9 service arms that went out from the launcher tower out to the Saturn.
Yeah.
And those Saturn, or the service arms, is what fed this giant life. Oxygen, liquid oxygen, the different fuels.
Yeah.
They had different, they were just service arms out to, out to the Saturn.
They brought services to the launch pad.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what's the funniest thing that ever happened in your career?
Well, there's probably a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't funny, but one of the things that everyone thought was we took an elevator to the 340-foot level,
Yeah.
and the outside of the outside in the launcher was a screen,
Yeah.
and the elevator went up and down in the screen. Well, there was a bird trapped in there.
Yeah.
And the bird couldn't get out unless the elevator was stopped in between floors so the bird can fly down and then fly out.
I got you.
And I asked them if they would get this bird out, and they weren't going to stop this countdown to get a bird out.
Yeah.
So the bird would fly up to the top, and he'd visit, then he came back down, and he'd go back up and go back down, and then he'd fly to one end and try to get out to the screen, and then he'd go to the other end, and then he never did. So this was during a countdown, and then we went into, that was a countdown demonstration, and then we went into the countdown. And after countdown, we normally go back to the launcher and start securing the systems and shutting off valves and whatever. And God is my witness, that bird was still alive.
No kidding. After the
Swear to
launch?
God. And it looked like somebody got it and took a torch and torched it.
No kidding.
Oh, it was just burnt feathers.
It was ragged, huh?
And this bird, when he flew to the other side to try to get out, he was squawking and squealing, and he hit that fence and tried to pull himself out. Then he turned around and flew back the other way. And I mean, I would have thought that these people wanted to examine this bird, because I know he was probably deaf.
Yeah.
And probably not right in the head, because you don't go
The shock wave. Huh?
Yeah, you don't go through something like that and live and not be, you got to have a bunch of stuff wrong. And I said, if they don't get the bird out, I said, I will call the Humane Society.
So the bird got out finally.
And when he did, he headed out towards the ocean. He came out
Let me
of
out of here.
Ice to God tree, and he never turned around. He was going straight out over the ocean, and I watched him. We all watched him until he just disappeared.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, John. I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome.
All right.
And if that's still recording, I recommend everybody come out to CAM.